The judge presiding over the Kyle Rittenhouse hearing slams the media's handling of the trial. Watch this.
When I talked about problems with the media when this trial started, we were there in part, not fully, but in part because of grossly irresponsible handling of what comes out of this trial.
Yeah, here to react, Jimmy Failla, host of Fox Across America on Fox News Radio and Fox Nation. Good morning to you. Yeah, right. Jimmy, what do you make of this judge actually addressing the media, calling it grossly irresponsible?
Yeah, good for him. And I'm just going to warn you, Carly, this story has me really cranky. And I don't want you to think it's because I ate the wrong Tide Pods before I came on the air. The media, Carly, is the only reason there is a trial. I mean, really, though. The media really is the only reason there is a trial in Kenosha. Understand, they lied about what Jacob Blake did. They said he was unarmed when the cops shot him, when in fact we know he sexually assaulted a woman at knife point, tried to abduct her child, and got shot. That's pretty good information to leave out of the media narrative, which is why they were rioting in Kenosha in the first place. But what the judge is really going after here is they have created the expectation, Carly, that this was a very winnable trial because they played to the emotions of the Twitter mob, and now they're out there telling us Kyle Rittenhouse is a white supremacist because he shot other white people, which is insane.
Yeah. Yeah, and there is concern specifically because the judge didn't sequester the jury, that all of this media criticism of the trial will be heard by jurors and it will affect the outcome of the case.
No question. I mean, they see that the National Guard is there. They see people outside the courthouse. They're aware that their decision may cause, tens of millions of dollars of property damage like the last round of riots. The only upside to any of this, Carly, is it'll probably be a little bit less violent because the price of bricks and gas have gone up so much under Biden, it's hard to burn down a city these days.
Yeah, well, a good example of what we're talking about, MSNBC's Joy Reid, she compared Kyle Rittenhouse to Brett Kavanaugh in a very racially charged way. Watch this.
To the Kyle Rittenhouse trial, it reminded a lot of people of something, the Brett Kavanaugh hearings, in which Brett Kavanaugh cried his way through the hearings. In America, there's a thing about both white vigilantism and white tears, particularly male white tears.
What do you make of that, Jimmy?
Joy Reid, and I really mean this, is a shameless race-baiting buffoon. It has nothing to do with her race or her gender, as she would obviously pivot to. But do you remember those dolls as a kid that if you pulled the string and it could only say 3 things? That's Joy Reid. She can only say racism, sexism, and white supremacy. She's like racism meet Elmo. It's like a children's doll that just calls you names all the time. Because when she goes in and she tries to tell us, oh, Brett Kavanaugh got off because of white tears, isn't she conveniently omitting that it was a 35-year-old charge? There was 0 corroborating evidence, including Christine Blasey Ford's best friends. But this is the shamelessness of the media, because there are people out there consuming this that are like, yeah, Joy, yeah, it's the white tears, that's the thing. But the legal system doesn't work on your emotions. The legal system works on the facts.
Right. And also, Jimmy, she said that Brett Kavanaugh became a Supreme Court justice because of his white tears meant more than Christine Blasey Ford's, who's also white. Yeah. So I can't compute on that one, having trouble figuring that out. Jimmy, we've got to get to this because President Biden was in Detroit and he went on a very quick test drive of an electric Hummer. Watch.
Anybody want to jump in the back? On the roof?
This is not doing something else. This is 3 times as heavy as my Corvette, 3 times as fast.
Oh, yeah. So there you have it. This video is getting some attention. What's your reaction to it? The president does say that he has some experience riding, what is it, buses or big rigs, and we're not entirely sure that that's true.
Yeah. First off, do you notice how nobody wants to jump in the back? They're like, yeah, not with this guy driving. I'm not so sure about this move. Everybody gets a little nervous. But here's the thing, Carly, and you know this. Nobody wants an electric vehicle because it's veganism on wheels. You have to work it into the first sentence of every conversation, which is annoying. And a Hummer, that defeats the whole point of a Hummer. A Hummer is you're a rebel. You're going rogue. Nobody wants to watch a version of Easy Rider where they pull over to plug in their motorcycles every 100 miles, you know? But I will say
I'd be
this,
very
Carl,
curious to see the electric Hummer sales. It's two different categories of people buying those two cars. Jimmy, we got to leave it there. Thank you so much for this morning. Appreciate it. You're the best.
Bye.